First at 9. This is Other Derana 24/7.
In tonight's headlines, SLFP to push Maithripala Sirisena as next presidential candidate, while joint opposition to field a separate candidate for presidency. Government issues red notice to three-wheelers. Pakistan eyes enhanced trade through FTA. And in sports, Sri Lanka once again fails before South African pace attack. It's Friday, the 30th of January 2017. Thank you for making us a part of your evening. This is Other Derana 24/7 News Tonight. I'm Mahesh Johnny. We begin with tonight the local news. President Maithripala Sirisena has appointed a task force to face challenges of the drought with the participation of all relevant institutions. Meanwhile, earlier in the day, the president said that Triforce's officials will be deployed together with government officials to provide relief for people affected by current droughts. The president revealed his decision during an event held at China Bay Airport in Trincomalee this morning.
President Maithripala Sirisena, who arrived at the Sri Lanka Air Force Academy in China Bay, was received by Air Force Commander Air Marshal Kapila Jayampathi along with senior Air Force officials.
As the Defence Minister, the President and the Commander-in-Chief, I have immense confidence in the tri-forces of this country. When it concerns the national security, Defence forces do not respond only to national security threats. For the past few decades, they have also helped the public by carrying out welfare programs and social work. I spoke with the Navy Commander and Defence Secretary yesterday regarding one of the biggest challenges the country is facing at the moment, that is the drought. I hope to deploy officers of the Triforces along with government officials to provide relief to people who are in the disaster-affected districts. The responsibility of those affected districts will be given to the Triforces, and they will participate in welfare activities such as distribution of drinking water and, if necessary, food items.
ඉදිරියේදී අවශ්‍ය වූ ආහාර බෙදා හැරීම වැනි කටයුතු සඳහා ත්‍රිවිධ හමුදාවට ඒ වගකීම බාර දීමට මා බලාපොරොත්තු වෙනවා.
Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe states that an economic agenda will be drafted for the next few years with the view of transforming Sri Lanka into a high-income country. The Prime Minister made these comments during an event at Temple Trees this morning. Minister of Public Administration and Management Ranjith Madduma Bandara also expressed views regarding the current economic situation. Last year, we were able to begin the task of doubling government officers' basic salary. We were also able to introduce relevant laws and issue circulars. The basic salary of every government officer will be doubled by 2020. We spend 40% of the state revenue on government services. We will introduce national policies that the country needs. As a result, when we contest the next election as separate parties, the policies will remain unchanged. It isn't an easy task when two parties are working together. Regardless of that, we will carry out necessary activities. After discussing with the President, we will draft an economic agenda related to the next few years. Through that, we hope to bring about a massive restructure of the economic system. We will introduce the economic agenda with the aim of evaluating the country to high income status by 2030 or 2032.
මේ රට වැඩි ආදායම ආර්ථිකයක් බවට 2032 වෙනකොට පත් කරනවා.
Deputy Minister of Power and Renewable Energy Ajit P. Pereira says that the people have granted a mandate to abolish the executive presidency. The Deputy Minister made these comments in reaction to comments made by Minister S.B. Disanayake yesterday.
ජනාධිපති ක්‍රමය තියෙනවා ඊළඟ ඡන්දය වෙනකොට. එහෙම වෙද්දී අපි අපේ පක්ෂයේ අපේක්ෂකයා හැටියට මෛත්‍රීපාල සිරිසේන ජනාධිපතිතුමා නම් කරගෙන තියෙනවා.
The media today inquired about these comments made by Minister S.B. Disanayake from Deputy Minister Ajit P. Pereira after a function held in Kandy.
විධායක ජනාධිපති ක්‍රමයේ 100%ක්ම අහෝසි වෙන්න ඕනේ. ජනතාව වරම තියෙන එකටයි අපි අදහස් වෙනින් පෙනී ඉන්නවා. ශ්‍රී ලංකා නිදහස් පක්ෂයත් ඔය කිව්වට ඉන්නේ අපේ මතෙම තමයි.
Meanwhile, Minister S.B. Disanayake today reacted to Deputy Minister Ajit P. Pereira's comments.
හැබැයි එතුමා එහෙම මේ එක්සත් ජාතික පක්ෂයට පොරොන්දු වෙලා නැහැ. එතුමා හැබැයි රටට එතුමා මාලිගාවට ඇවිල්ලා කිව්වා මං ආයි ඉල්ලන්නේ නැහැ කියලා. හැබැයි පහුගිය මහමැතිවරණ ප්‍රතිඵලයෙන් පස්සේ එතුමාට සිද්ධ වුණා මේ ප්‍රධාන පක්ෂ දෙක එකතු කරලා ආණ්ඩුවක් හදන්න. එදා මතුවෙච්ච ප්‍රශ්නත් එක්ක එක්සත් ජාතික සංවිධානයේ ඉදිරියට යන්න එතුමා අපේ පක්ෂයේ නායකත්වය ආපහු බාරගත්තා. ශ්‍රී ලංකා නිදහස් පක්ෂයේ නායකත්වය බාරගත්තට පස්සේ ශ්‍රී ලංකා නිදහස් පක්ෂයත් එක්ක එතුමාට එකඟත්වයකින් වැඩ කරන්න වෙනවා. ඉතින් එතුමා පක්ෂේ බාරගත්තේ පක්ෂයේ ඒ අභියෝග සියල්ල එතුමා බොහොම ආදරෙන් මම බාර ගන්නවා කියන පොරොන්දුවත් එක්ක ඒක නිසා මේ ඊළඟ ජනාධිපති මැතිවරණය එතුමාට තරම් කරන්න වෙයි.
Minister of Science and Technology Research Sushil Premajanta says that an immediate cabinet reshuffle should take place. Participating at a public meeting in Malabar, the minister said that the decision should be made to overcome weaknesses of certain ministries. In the last general election, no party got 113 seats. Therefore, the two parties had to join together. United National Party has taken the majority of responsibilities in handling the government. The Prime Minister is from the UNP, so the country will be handled by them. The executive stands separate. We said that we will not agree to increase value-added tax. They wanted to go for privatization, but we did not agree. Some say that this alliance will continue until 2020, but nothing can stop the force of the people. We have been able to change the direction of the UNP policies to a certain extent. If we cannot change them, we will make a decision. In the near future, we can take clear decisions on some of the ministries because the people have reacted. As per my knowledge, the current price of rice is the highest in the history of our country. I do not know whether this is due to ignorance or due to the lack of taking appropriate action. The President is now carrying out many programs regarding this. We clearly say that if the SLFP establishes an executive, it should protect the unitary character of the country. Convener of the joint opposition, Prasanna Ranathunga, says they will name a presidential candidate for the next presidential election. Ranathunga said this after visiting former Minister Wimal Weerawansa at the Welkada prison. It was the General Secretary of the Sri Lanka Freedom Party who said that President Maithripala Sirisena is suitable for the next presidential election. In this manner, they are trying to destroy the Sri Lanka Freedom Party. When he contests for the election from the SLFP, Ranil Wickremesinghe will be the other candidate. With the disappointment of SLFP supporters and the division in the party, Ranil will become the president and then Maithripala will become the prime minister. That is what they are expecting. Therefore, they are creating the environment for that. Their expectations will not be fulfilled when the joint opposition nominates a common candidate during that period. Gazette issued on new three-wheeler regulations, the government issues a special Gazette notification to regulate and discipline the three-wheelers and drivers and eventually for the betterment of public who use three-wheelers for commuting. The Gazette includes that the right side of the passenger compartment should be kept fully closed permanently. No person shall enter or exit the motor tricycle from right side. Meanwhile, an owner or driver of the three-wheeler must ensure that a speedometer is fitted. Information such as registration number, name and the driving license number of the driver, a photograph of the driver should be displayed behind the driver's seat to be clearly visible to passengers. It further says drivers should not smoke and taximeters should be fixed. Moreover, if you need to fully obtain the full text of the Gazette notification, log on to www.adaderana.lk. Well, everyone needs an encouragement sometimes. Inspirational stories of extraordinary people empowers us and helps us to overcome day-to-day struggles in life. This is the story of Dr. Dinesh Palipana, an extraordinary person of our time.
In a tragic car accident in 2010 in Brisbane, Australia, Dinesh Palipana's entire life changed.
I was driving from my parents' house one night. I went to visit them. They live about an hour and a half away. And when I was driving back, my car, we think it hit a water puddle or a slippery part of the road. And it's started sliding everywhere. And then it rolled. So it rolled and rolled and rolled. And when it finally came to a stop, I tried to get out of the car. And I realized well, I couldn't move my legs, so I couldn't actually move myself out of the car. And I touched my leg and said, wow, I can't feel my legs. So that's when I knew what happened, and I knew that the spinal cord injury is very serious, and the paralysis.
Dinesh was left quadriplegic. He spent 7 months in a Brisbane spinal unit and 3 years in Sri Lanka. This situation did not stop Dinesh from following his dreams of becoming a doctor. In January 2015, he returned to Australia to continue his third year of studies. Since then, he has finished 2 years of clinical rotations at Gold Coast University Hospital, including 3 months in the emergency department. He also attained honours during a stint at Harvard University's teaching hospital, which led him to a job offer at Harvard University.
It's not magic. If you have something that really moves your heart, which is what medicine is for me, I think you just have to work. That's it. So if you really believe in something and if you want something, there's absolutely nothing stopping you from getting it if you just work. And you just go at it every day, you believe that you can get there, and you just let it consume you, and you will arrive at that point. So that's the advice I would give anyone.
Regardless of life-altering circumstances, Dinesh Palipana has proven that faith and hard work can take anyone, anywhere.
When we come back, we'll have business news. On to business news now. Pakistan says it hopes to achieve $1 billion in bilateral trade with Sri Lanka in the next year. Pakistani High Commissioner to Sri Lanka, Syed Shakil Hussain, said the Nawaz Sharif government is currently aggressively pursuing to enhance benefits through the existing free trade agreement between the two countries. He made these comments speaking to Other Derana following the launch of Pakistan's single country exhibition being held at the BMICH in Colombo.
Pakistan's single country exhibition has been an annual event since last year. This year's exhibition in Colombo becomes the largest ever single country exhibition organized by Pakistan anywhere in the world. The exhibition, with over 150 stalls, will be open for public until Sunday.
Last year we were here with 95 stalls, and on the very first day, 80% of our stuff was sold out. And this year we are here with 156 stalls. You can see there are so many people here. We are displaying one of the finest products made in Pakistan, whether it is accessories, whether it is marble, it is whether leather or furniture or beauty things. You can see all the best stuff here.
However, Munir says that bilateral trade has been smaller than the relationship between the two countries, despite the existing FTA.
We are exporting to Sri Lanka about $250 million, and our import is only $74 million. So the volume is very small. The total is about $325 million in and out. But we have to, I think so, within next 1 year, our export will be $1 billion. Our turnover will be more than $1 billion. And that is the reason because of this good exhibition being held here.
The Pakistani High Commissioner meanwhile said that they have some bigger plans in the pipeline.
We're also looking for coming into some major sectors at government level. Discussions are in progress on that. So for me to say anything in concrete terms will be a little early. We wait for it. I hope something we'll be able to say in next about 3 months.
He also commented on Sri Lanka regaining the GSP Plus facility.
Because there are so many things from Sri Lanka which can go to the European market which are not going, and the markets which are lying across when you're going to Europe. So it will benefit, and probably one staging place will be Pakistan also in that process. So it will mutually benefit both of us with the maritime Silk Route coming up, Pakistan being one of the first destinations going from there, and GSP Plus, both augur well for your trade. Both augur well for your trade.
When questioned about Sri Lanka's Hambantota port development with Chinese assistance, the High Commissioner had this to say.
You see, your geography has to dictate so many things, and geography is bringing the biggest benefits now. Sri Lanka will have to take this I'm not saying how best you take it, it will come to you. So good luck to Sri Lankans and Sri Lankan government. And they are doing a good job out of it, and it will greatly benefit your society.
In other business news, Imperial College of Business Studies launched a new MBA qualification in partnership with the University of the West Scotland. The Master of Business Administration in International Business follows the BA in International Business and Finance launched by Imperial College 9 months ago. The newly introduced MBA program will span over 18 months. The first batch of the program will commence on the 15th of January.
So we're absolutely delighted that our partner has chosen to make this considerable investment, and I think it says a lot for our partnership going forward that we are prepared to make these types of investments here.
The Colombo Bourse ended in positive territory today. We now have the day's stock market update.
The benchmark all-share price index gained 64.7 points week on week to close at the week 6,217.72. The S&P Sri Lanka 20 index, which features the 20 largest and most liquid stocks, increased by 62.15 points week on week to close at 3,524.4 today. Foreign investor activity marked a net foreign outflow of rupees 729.7 million during 4 days of trading. The week recorded a consolidated turnover of 2.82 billion rupees. In terms of the best performing shares during the week, Blue Diamonds non-voting, Mesta Corp, Kegul Plantation, Colombo Land and Tessagro non-voting were recorded as the top 5 gainers, while property developments, Ittasik Kaduwa, Madalsima Plantations, Afisi Cuban and LOLC Finance were recorded as the top 5 losers for the week.
Here's the weekly stock market roundup.
The benchmark index all-share price index was on a continuous uptrend, reaching 6,217 and gaining 64 points on week basis. The moderate activities with a high volume level remain across the week. A majority of the counters shown the price increase. The investor has taken a positive view with the regaining of GSP Plus on the short term. The slowly looking to buy on the specific counter with the results coming the season.
Let's now take a look at how the Sri Lankan rupee traded against other currencies. On to sports news now. President of Sri Lanka Cricket, Thilanga Sumathipala, says that an island-wide national cricket development plan will be executed ahead of the 2019 Cricket World Cup. Addressing a district program to discuss the national cricket plan, Sumathipala said the program across 22 districts will begin from Anuradhapura.
So we have come to interact with the district association. So we are telling the policy of the cricket board to the district. If there is an outstanding cricketer is born in any part of the country, should have a fair and just an opportunity to represent the country. On the run-up to the district development, provincial development and national development program, we are creating this environment, we are creating this platform together with all the associations, where we all understand how we can build that outstanding player, give him a roadmap to represent the country, assist him with technical support, assist him with infrastructure, assist him with his personal requirement of material and so forth. Before 2020, we will have a player playing for Sri Lanka, representing Anuradhapura district.
In other sports news, the second day of the third test between Sri Lanka and host South Africa got underway today.
Lovely drive down the ground, that'll make him feel better.
South Africa made 426 runs in the first innings of the third test against Sri Lanka, played in Johannesburg. JP Dumini scored 155 runs, while Hashim Amla scored 134 runs, contributing to the South African total. Nuwan Pradeep picked 4 wickets for 78 runs, while Lahiru Kumara got 4 wickets for 107. However, both Rangana Herath and Suranga Lakmal ended the innings wicketless. Meanwhile, the Sri Lankan batsmen once again failed to face the South African pace attack and were 80 for 4 wickets at the end of 28 when the match temporarily halted due to bad light. Dimuth Karunaratne was out for no score, while Kushal Silva fell for 13. Kushal Mendes made 41 while Dhananjay De Silva was out for 10.
Had a go at that. There's no one down there, and it's flowing hard and high over the...
In international news, outgoing U.S. Vice President Joe Biden was awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom, the highest U.S. civilian honor, in a surprise event that took an emotional move. President Barack Obama praised his vice president for his faith in fellow Americans, for his love of the country, and his lifetime of service.
The best vice president America's ever had, Mr. Joe Biden. This also gives the internet one last chance to talk about our bromance.
The award comes as both men prepare to leave office when President-elect Donald Trump is to be inaugurated on January 20th. A visibly emotional Joe Biden stood by as the US president heaped praise on what he called the best possible choice, not just for him, but for the American people.
For the final time as president, I am pleased to award our nation's highest civilian honor, the Presidential Medal of Freedom.
is not only well beyond what I deserve, but it's a reflection of the extent and generosity of your spirit. I don't deserve this, but I know it came from the President's heart. And Mr. President, I'm indebted to your friendship. I'm indebted to your family.
The medal was awarded with distinction, an additional honor that has been reserved in recent administrations for just a handful of recipients, including Pope John Paul II.
I just hope that the asterisk in history that is attached to my name when they talk about this presidency is that I can say I was part of the journey of a remarkable man.
The only thing we have to fear is fear itself. Ask not what your country...
Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
We will make America safe again. And we will make America great again.
As we count down to the inauguration of the 45th President of the United States, Donald Trump, he has now promised to issue a report within 90 days on allegations of Russian hacking during the U.S. presidential campaign that could have helped him to win the election. At the same time, the report should smooth out accusations about him that were published in the last week and included compromising information about the president.
They are, as I indicated in my statement.
On Thursday, the president-elect said that the Director of National Intelligence, James Clapper, had called him to denounce the false and fictitious reports of a Russian dossier against him. Clapper also denied that intelligence agencies had originated the leaks after the reports have deepened a rift between Donald Trump and the agencies last week. Earlier this month, an unclassified version of a report was released alleging that the Russian government had a clear preference for Donald Trump to win the US election. Trump's spokesman has said the president-elect accepts the intelligence report but added that there is no evidence that the outcome of the election was affected.
In other international stories, Iran welcomed the arrival of the first Western plane that was ordered since lifting of the sanctions on the country. The aircraft landed just a week before January 20th inauguration of US President-elect Donald Trump, who opposes the deal struck by Western powers in 2015, which lifted sanctions against Iran in return for curbs on the country's nuclear activities.
An Airbus A321 airliner touched down at the Mehrabad International Airport in Tehran yesterday, the first to arrive out of 200 Western-built aircraft ordered by Iran Air. This is the first Western-built plane Iran has purchased in nearly 40 years. Iran Air flies some of the world's oldest fleets with an average age of 23 years and has had to rely on smuggled or improvised parts to keep them operational. The country has seen nearly 600 deaths in 14 plane crashes since 2000. After sanctions were lifted last year, Iran struck a deal with Airbus to purchase 100 planes under an $18 billion deal.
Turkish lawmakers came to blow in a brawl in parliament as tempers boiled over in a debate on a constitutional reform package to expand the powers of President Tayyip Erdogan. MPs from the ruling AK party and main opposition CHP threw punches and shoved one another as they crowded around the assembly's podium. The AKP, backed by the nationalist MHP, is pushing through the legislation that Erdogan says will bring the strong leadership needed to prevent a return of the fragile coalition government of the past. Despite the clash, the 3rd, 4th and 5th article of the 18-article bill were approved in Parliament session, which continued overnight. Well, that's a wrap of tonight's news on Other Derana 24/7. Thank you very much for your company. For the very latest, 24 hours a day, just log on to www.otherderana.lk or like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. I'm Mahesh Johnny. Good night.
This is Other Derana, and you're watching Other Derana 24/7.